Urgent, America's team fan! Look at what just happened. Nobody saw this coming, huh? But first, make sure to subscribe to the channel, because we bring you daily videos with the latest your team news, and don't forget to turn on notifications, so you don't miss anything. Dallas Cowboys predicted to pick star NFL draft prospect by Elon Musk's Grok. The latest NFL mock draft uses innovative technology to predict who the Dallas Cowboys will pick in the upcoming NFL draft. The 2025 NFL draft is less than 2 weeks away, and the NFL mock drafts have been flying out. For the Dallas Cowboys, the projections have been centered around wide receiver and running back. Early in the draft process, the Cowboys were heavily linked to Heisman Trophy runner-up Ashton Jeanty, but he has continued to climb up draft boards, and many believe he will now be selected in the top 10. However, some artificial not-so-intelligence doesn't seem to be picking up on the trend. USA Today used Elon Musk's Grok on X to compile a new and innovative mock draft that has the Cowboys landing Jeanty at number 12 overall. Grok has taken notice of the Cowboys' issues at running back, calling it the most pressing need for the team in the draft. After calling the Dallas offense anemic in 2024, the frisky robot picked Jeanty for America's team, the article states. It seems unlikely that Jeanty will reach this point, but the Cowboys should be thrilled with this result if it comes to fruition. Landing one of arguably the top 3 talents in the class is enough reason to punt on other needs. If Jeanty were to fall for the Cowboys, it would be a dream scenario for the team. Jeanty is widely regarded as a generational talent at the running back position and could immediately improve a major area of need for the team. This past season, Jeanty rushed for 2,601 yards and 29 touchdowns, averaging a whopping 7.0 yards per carry. Throughout his collegiate career, Jeanty has rushed for 4,769 yards and 50 touchdowns, while adding 862 yards and 6 scores receiving. The 2025 NFL Draft will be held in Green Bay, Wisconsin, with the first round on Thursday, April 24th. Rounds 2 and 3 will be held on Friday, April 25th, while the final rounds will play out on Saturday, April 26th. Pausing this news, just to say that if you want YouTube to keep recommending the latest America's team news to you, it's very important that you leave a like on this video. Thanks. Now let's get back to the news. Cowboys predicted to land versatile pass rusher in trade with Panthers. The Dallas Cowboys have the 12th pick in the upcoming NFL draft. However, they could trade the pick if it means ladining an elite player for their defense. The Cowboys will be able to add an impactful player even if they sit at number 12. However, NFL.com's Gennaro Felice predicted they would trade up with the Carolina Panthers to land a high-upside pass rusher to pair with Micah Parsons. Across the mockosphere, Jalen Walker often comes off the board at number 8 overall. Typically, though, the Carolinas native is projected to land in Charlotte, wrote Felice. But in this simulation, the Panthers trade the pick to the Cowboys, who scoop up Walker for themselves. Wait, doesn't Dallas already have a twitchy L-Bedge hybrid? Yeah, but why settle for one Micah Parsons when you can have 2? Alright, that comp's aggressive, but the pairing would be undeniably fun. And Parsons is a well-documented fan of Walker's game. Walker shined at the University of Georgia, and the Philadelphia Eagles just won a Super Bowl after heavily investing in defensive players from the Georgia Bulldogs. The Cowboys could take a page from their rivals' book and add a Bulldog star of their own. Walker had 6.5 sacks last season, leading the Bulldogs. He was a third-team Associated Press All-American and second-team All-Sec. He also won the Butkus Award, given to the nation's top linebacker. He finished his college career with a national championship, 12.5 sacks, 89 tackles, and 19 tackles for a loss. Adding him to the defense alongside Parsons could be a great move for the Cowboys. The team has other needs as well, but they may be willing to wait to address them if it means landing Walker. Broncos, Buccaneers, Cowboys. Packers host WR Matthew Golden, not viewed as one of this decade's better wide receiver classes. The 2025 crop is still expected to see a few of its best options go off the board in round 1. Matthew Golden is becoming a player to watch here. The Texas prospect has assembled a busy pre-draft itinerary after an impressive combine showing. While he could not quite match 2024 Longhorns WR prospect Xavier Worthy's 4.21 second combined record in the 40-yard dash, Golden blazed to a 4.29 clocking in Indianapolis. Teams are lining up to spend time with the Longhorn one and done. The Broncos, Buccaneers, Cowboys, and Packers have brought the former Houston recruit in on 30 visits. Golden met with the Bucs on Monday, NFL. .com's Ian Rappaport tweets and stopped through Denver on Wednesday, 9 News' Mike Cleese adds. He met with the Cowboys on Thursday, per Fox Sports' Jordan Schultz, with the Milwaukee Journal-Sentinel's Tom Silverstein reporting the 2024 SEC standouts. Packers' meeting occurred before these summits. A Houston native, Golden spent his college career in Texas and is coming up as a Cowboys fit. Dallas is looking into receivers, with Sportskita.com's Tony Pauline indicating the team is viewed as a prime landing spot at no 12 overall for a player. NFL.com's Daniel Jeremiah slots as his top wideout in this class. The Cowboys are targeting a receiver pick early, per Pauline, with Stephen Jones confirming the team is interested in augmenting its WR situation. They have met with Ohio State's Emeka Egbuka as well. While they have shown interest in Travis Hunter, Golden is a more realistic target. The Packers' No. 23 have met with Egbuka and one-year Golden teammate Isaiah Bond. The team has long resisted calls to draft a receiver in the first round. It has still been since 2002, Javon Walker since such a move transpired. Green Bay has 4 rookie deal receivers of note on its roster. But Christian Watson is expected to miss significant time due to a January ACL tear. Romeo Doubs joins Watson in a contract year. Denver No. 20 looked into Cooper Kupp and Stephon Diggs. And while Amari Cooper and Keenan Allen are among the vets who remain available, the Broncos are doing work on complementing Courtland Sutton with another young player. The team drafted Marvin Mims, Troy Franklin, and Devon Vell over the past 2 years, but has now hosted Golden and Missouri's Luther Burden. Running back remains an area the Broncos are focusing on, but a receiver addition makes sense as well. Sutton is entering his age 30. Season a Bucs receiver move early would be rather interesting, considering the resources the team has devoted to this position. Tampa Bay No. 19 drafted Jalen McMillan in last year's 3rd round and gave Chris Godwin a 3-year, $66 million deal a year after resigning Mike Evans. The latter is back in a contract year, though Tampa Bay has obviously made it a high priority to keep its all-time receiving leader a one-team player. Golden is viewed as one of this draft's fastest-rising players. Pauline adds, and he made an impression in Quinn Ewers' final season in Austin, averaging 17 yards per catch. Golden went 5'8", 9'8", for the Longhorns in 2025. While he did not put together a season like that in Houston, the 5'11" prospect did combine for 13 TDs with the Cougars. With Tetairoa McMillan's grip on the top WR slot slipping, Golden could be poised to swoop in. And now, America's team. Fan, I want to hear from you. What's your opinion on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I don't know if you know this, but your opinion matters a lot for your team. I'll be back any moment with more America's team news. How about them Cowboys? Urgent, America's team fan. Look at what just happened. Nobody saw this coming, huh? But first, make sure to subscribe to the channel because we bring you daily videos with the latest America's team news. And don't forget to turn on notifications so you don't miss anything. Cowboys could make blockbuster trade to draft generational. RB, the Dallas Cowboys have slightly improved their running back room by signing veteran Miles Sanders and former Denver Bronco Javonte Williams, but some think the team could do better. In his latest 2025 NFL draft projections, Vinny Iyer of the Sporting News thinks the Cowboys should use the 10 selections they have to trade up to No. 5 and draft Boise State superstar Ashton Jeanty. The Cowboys can consider this power move to lock down their best first-round feature back since taking Ezekiel Elliott. No. 4 overall 9 drafts ago, Iyer wrote, Jeanty would be the workhorse centerpiece of their running game and give them a little extra juice in the passing game. They might need to jump the Raiders to get him. The overwhelming majority of insiders believe that the Las Vegas Raiders are a lock to draft Jeanty at No. 6. So the Cowboys would have to trade with the Jacksonville Jaguars to get the 5th pick in order to have a shot at the 2024 Heisman Trophy runner-up. but it is hard to argue whether or not it would be worth it because of the season that Ginty had in 2024. He finished with 2,600 yards and 29 touchdowns on the ground, and he did so averaging 7 yards per carry. He can also contribute in the passing game, tallying just under 400 yards in his final year at Boise State. Ginty, who happens to be from Frisco, home of the Cowboys, had one of the best seasons by a running back in college football history, and it could have a team like the Cowboys trading up to acquire his services for the next decade. Pausing this news, just to say that if you want YouTube to keep recommending the latest America's team news to you, it's very important that you leave a like on this video. Thanks. Now let's get back to the news. Cowboys signing Tyler Lockett would create one major question. CeeDee Lamb is one of the most talented players in the NFL and can change games for the Dallas Cowboys. But past him, the team's receiving core could use a bit of work. Jalen Tolbert is currently listed as WR2, and he is by no means a bad player. But if the Cowboys want to win more efficiently, having a veteran guy on the outside could be very beneficial. One of the free agent names that could be likely is former Seattle Seahawks veteran Tyler Lockett. The reason why the Cowboys could go after him specifically is the fact that head coach Brian Schottenheimer was the offensive coordinator for Seattle from 2018 to 2020, when Lockett had some very solid seasons. The year before Schottenheimer joined the franchise, Lockett finished the 2017 season with 555 yards and started in just 8 games. But as soon as the new offensive coordinator came along, the veteran receiver exploded for over 1,000 scrimmage yards and 10 touchdowns. Lockett also had his first 1,000-yard receiving seasons with Schottenheimer at the helm of the offense, so the former Seahawk could be drawn to Dallas as a result. If the Cowboys were to sign him, he would provide a solid veteran presence to a team who is hoping they can turn it around after some disappointing seasons. Assuming the money can be made to work spot rack projects, Lockett as a $7.7 million guy. There is one major question looming here about this vacancy and this player, though. Dallas COO Stephen Jones has been very frank about the Cowboys wanting to add an explosive, no.2 receiver. Lockett will turn 33 in September. Hes good, and he's crafty, and he's a shoddy fit, but explosive might not be the most fitting word here. Leading cynics to wonder if it's a fit at all. Second round might be the running back sweet spot for Dallas Cowboys. The second round might be the right running back spot for the Cowboys. The idea of taking a running back in the first round is one that very few NFL fan bases approve of in today's day and age. Discussions about the position and its worth have run rampant over the last decade or so, and while we all acknowledge that there is a legitimate value to it, that does not change the idea that spending premium draft capital there feels unwise. Consider our Wednesday discussion post here at BTB, where we asked the class how they would feel about a running back at 12. The likely option is Omarion Hampton, to be clear. Point 42 led the way in terms of biggest majority, and it was in being against the notion. Maybe you voted no on the poll, and maybe it was because Hampton was the runner, who is most likely the pick at 12, specifically given that Boise State's Ashton Jeanty will likely be gone. As noted, if Dallas takes a running back at 12, the most logical option is indeed Hampton, which is arguably why Mel Kiper sent him to Dallas in his latest mock. Beyond the cost of spending your most valuable draft asset on the position, the argument against a running back in the first round is generally that the position can be addressed elsewhere. Earlier this week, our own Danny Phantom offered an exercise that gave an opportunity to assemble the best haul in the first round, where running back, wide receiver, and cornerback were each addressed. He noted that commenters were welcome to bring forth their preferred combination, and this was one of the most wrecked solutions presented. Blue Flash presented Teteroa McMillan, Arizona, Trevelyan, Henderson, Ohio State, and Jacob Parrish, Kansas State. Wide receiver, running back, and cornerback all get love in this scenario. If you browse the rest of the comments, the most popular rect answers tend to offer Henderson in the second round. It feels pretty consensus that this would be a great direction for Dallas to go in. Consider that recently ESPN's Jordan Reed noted that it seems more likely in his estimation at least, that the Cowboys would go running back in the second round. He specifically noted Henderson as an option along with his fellow Buckeye and Quinshon Judkins. What we're hearing about the Cowboys draft, the Cowboys have been open about needing an explosive receiver opposite CeeDee Lamb, with Matthew Golden, Texas being heavily linked to them at the no-toy 12 pick. Running back is also a need for Dallas. While there has been talk about the Cowboys taking Omarion Hampton, North Carolina at no point 12, it seems more likely that they'll use their second-round pick on a runner. The team has expressed interest in Ohio State running backs Tre'Veyon Henderson and Quinshon Judkins in that spot. Read, thankfully it appears that the board is likely going to fall this way for the Cowboys. It is possible that things even go so well for them that they are able to pull off some sequence like this after even trading back in the first round. But for the Omarion Hampton fans, running back at 12 seems to be the most inefficient way to go about building this year's draft class. Who disagrees? Still don't think it's holding. Former Cowboys OL Zach Martin disagrees with penalty on him. In Steelers game, Zach Martin is one of the best offensive linemen in NFL history. Martin was with the Dallas Cowboys from 2004 to 2024 before retiring this offseason. He was consistently the best guard in the league, making 9 Pro Bowls, being named a second-team All-Pro twice, and a first-team All-Pro 7 times. She's also famous for almost never holding, only getting flagged for it 7 times in his career. One of those calls has stuck with him, and it happened to come against the Pittsburgh Steelers almost a decade ago. I have one that I know for sure that I was pissed about at the time, and I've seen it since, and I still don't think it's a holding. Martin said Friday on Greenlight with Chris Long. We played a game in Pittsburgh in 2016, down to the wire. It was on Ryan Shazier. We were running duo and he fired in the A-gap and I kind of gulfed him up and they got me for a hold, but he dove at the last second. That one sticks with me. That game was exciting with the Steelers, almost coming away with the win. It's probably most remembered for Ben Roethlisberger's fake spike touchdown in the fourth quarter. Although the Cowboys escaped with victory, Martin still isn't happy about that penalty. That play came with just over a minute left in the first quarter. The Cowboys had the ball at their own 20-yard line, and they handed it off to running back Ezekiel Elliott. Elliott ran right beside Martin, who was blocking Shazier. Looking at the play, it is a tough call to make. While in real time, it might look like Martin was holding Shazier. Upon closer inspection, things might not be so cut and dry. It looks like Shazier tried to dive, like Martin said. As a result, Shazier's momentum might have thrown Martin off balance, dragging them to the ground and making it seem like Shazier was being held. It doesn't look like Martin is holding Shazier with his right hand. However, it's tough to see what his left arm is doing. Maybe that's where the hold came in. It's a tricky call that is easier to analyze in hindsight. As the play was happening, it probably looked like a hold. It's tough to say for certain whether Martin is right or not. Ultimately, it will stand as one of the few holding penalties called on Martin. Also, it's important to note that Martin's penalty didn't matter. 2 plays. Later, the Cowboys scored an 83-yard touchdown. They didn't let that minor setback stop them. Really, the Steelers are the ones who should still be upset about that game. In a year where they had Super Bowl aspirations, they fell to the young Cowboys. Pittsburgh had numerous opportunities to win that game too. And now, America's team. Fan, I want to hear from you. What's your opinion on this? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I don't know if you know this, but your opinion matters a lot for America's team. I'll be back any moment with more Americas. Team news. How about them Cowboys?